This beauty packs a lot of power. The power to teach, the power to reveal, the power to tell through sight and sound.
Here's how you can buy it.
RidleyReport.com/ad. Still more New Hampshire Liberty results from the November 2nd election. More analysis. Right now I'm going through the list and collecting, I'm trying to get the total number of clearly pro-liberty reps who have been elected. By pro-liberty, I'm basically defining that as someone who has an A- or better rating from the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance, or who I have reason to believe would get such a rating, if they're a rookie. In other words, a first-termer who has not yet been on the report card. The number being thrown around earlier was 40. I'm going to see how many of those I can verify, what numbers I can verify. But while I'm going through the list, I am going to also provide you some other anecdotal information that I run across. And the first piece of information that I ran across that was interesting was Chris Roberts' win in Keene. Now, Chris Roberts is not what I would call pro-liberty, but he is the most pro-liberty Democrat in the Cheshire County region who has served as a state rep, as far as I'm aware. And was running again this time. Well, he came out on the very top. He was the top vote getter in the Keene area in his district. He usually ranks as being about 40%, somewhere between 30 and 50% pro-liberty in the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance rankings. The average state rep statewide over the last 10 years, I think, has been, well, I'm estimating about 44% pro-liberty by the NH Liberty rankings, but that's a little bit off probably because I haven't checked for the last year or two. Chris Roberts was one of the few Democrats to actively support sovereignty legislation in New Hampshire, which of course was a big issue and got the state national press. The idea was state sovereignty over, federal sovereignty, at least in some areas. Google HCR6, you can find out all about it. Roberts is also very accessible and transparent. Chester LaPointe, Libertarian Party member and GOP candidate for State House, loses by about 1% or 200 votes. I should point out I'm not certain that he is a current Libertarian Party member, but he was a couple, 3 years ago at least. I'd also like to say a little bit more about Cameron DeJong's win. He is a Free Stater who moved to New Hampshire, I think, maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And he has been very active in running. As soon as he got here, he did everything he could. And he may have been, he's been here a while. But anyway, he dropped by one of the bars in Manchester the other night where we were gathering to sort of celebrate. And to watch him walk in, he had like a massive entourage. It was like, for a state rep, it was like 8 people that were walking in with him. And then others that were trickling in later that had helped him hold signs and stuff like that. We're talking about this is probably the most organized and vibrant state rep campaign in New Hampshire history. And if you're on Facebook and you have any connection to the Liberty movement in New Hampshire, you've probably seen his frequent, posts and events and stuff like that. I mean, I've never seen a state rep candidacy taken so seriously. Although I think he had fun. I think what the message that I got from watching Cam, kind of at a distance mostly, is just that the Free Staters have gotten to the point, the Liberty Movement candidates have gotten to the point in New Hampshire where they are much more sophisticated than the average state rep race that you'd see. At least that tends to be the case, and I hope that does not come off sounding smug, because I tend to want to defer to the folks that have already been here for a while, but man, it was something to see. One woman, I think it was for Cam that she was holding signs, stood in the cold outside for 12 hours. She's got to be at least 65. And when she heard about the victory, she started jumping up and down and then almost fell over. There was a relatively unusual Republican win in Hillsborough District 10 in Manchester. Nope, I take that back. I'm not able to confirm that win, so I'm going to move on to something else. A Democrat in Manchester, Patrick Garrity. You know what? I'm lacking verification again on his situation, so I'm going to pass on talking about that for now. Okay, finally. After an hour of research, I was able to confirm 39 state reps elected who have an A- rating or better from the New Hampshire Liberty Alliance, or who I believe will have that rating if they're a rookie. Now, that's just the confirmed numbers. There are others I'm not going to be able to find, probably, or confirm, who fit this description. So I'm going to estimate that it was probably about 50, somewhere between 50 and 55 A- reps elected to the New Hampshire State House. Of course, that includes A's and A+ as well. To give you a further sense of what A and A- means, I believe to get an A- in the New Hampshire State House from the Liberty Alliance, you have to have a voting record about 80% pro-liberty. We'll see how much they can get done, or maybe I should say how much they can prevent from getting done to us. To we, the people of the beautiful nation of New Hampshire. This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by RidleyReport.com/ad.